Okay, thank you very much, and welcome to today's class. Today we are going to look at surface mining method. Surface mining method. So as already stated in the introductory lecture, I said we have some methods we use to mine the ore. We have surface mining method, and then we have underground mining method. So today we are just going to look at surface mining methods. Most of us are working in the surface mining companies, so you are much familiar with it. As usual, we are going to discuss a lot of things so that we move. So the first thing you're going to do or look at is ore reserves suitable for surface mining. How can I know that this particular ore, my ore deposits, or what is the qualification, or what shows that this particular ore deposit that I'm having, I should use surface mining methods to mine? That is why I said in exploration stage, that is where we define or we get to know all these things. If I know that my ore is very deep from the surface, it means that I should go for underground mining method. But then if my ore is lying very close to the surface, it means that I should go for surface mining method. We have a lot of surface mining companies here because comparing surface mining to underground mining is very expensive. So for underground mines, most of them, their grades are very high. Sometimes their low grade can be a surface mining, be high grade. Yes. So if underground mine like Newmont, their grade is not high. So what they do is that they do a lot of bogging. When we say bogging, it means loading. Yesterday I explained bogging or mucking. It means that they mine at a faster rate. Yes. So they can be classified initially as relatively horizontal stratified reserves with a thin or thick covering of overbedding. Now, what this statement means is that relatively horizontal stratified reserves with a thin or thick covering of overbedding. Now, it means that before you can select a particular method or before a particular method can be selected as a surface mining method, normally the reserve or remember I explained reserve, the reserve or the resource should be thin or thick covering of overbedding. And I also explained overbedding, that overbedding, they are the materials that cover or enclose the mineral of interest or the ore. So surface mining method is normally used when the ore is what? Horizontal or stratified. So the ore should be thin or thick. This is not enough to justify. You read more to understand very well. Stratified vein type deposit with an inclination steeper than the natural angle of ripples of the material so that waste cannot be tipped inside the pit. What this one means is that it is not only horizontal, the ore shouldn't be only horizontal, it can also be inclined. In fact, most companies in Ghana, most of them, they are all is lying at a specific angle. Mostly, we can get all deposits lying like this. And let's say the surface, let's say here is the surface. Yes. So what it means is that, let me choose a different color. What it means is that from here to here, they are all waste. And we can classify them as overbedding because they enclose the mineral of interest. So let's say this is a gold deposit. All of these things are wastes. Yes, so we are going to mine. I have a deposit in my slides that we will mine. Today we are going to mine. We have 3 types of surface mining methods. Literally, it is 2. Let me say we have strip mining and open pit mining. But in Ghana, all the surface mining methods we are using, it's open pit mining. I'm talking about the large scale mines. They are all doing open pit mining. I don't know if there is a company coming to do strip mining. But then strip mining is normally for coal mining. For coal mining. In Ghana, we don't mine coal. I'm going to explain, the reading is too much. I'm going to explain it in a simple form so that we can move on, because surface mining, we have a lot to cover. Now, in the strip mining, it is normally used to mine a horizontal. Let me share a whiteboard so that's all right. Let me continue now. Now, strip mining. What qualifies a particular deposit to be a strip mining is that the ore deposit should lie flat or tabular. So here, the ore, let me use color, different color. Let's say the ore will be lying this way. Let's say the red color is the ore, tabular and flat. So what we do is that if you are using this method, go for black again. Okay. If you are using this method, the difference between this method and open pit method is that reclamation is done whilst you are mining. Reclamation in an say what two gold than I say will mean of interest na we now. Now when you do now, okay, let me do it this way. So this is the ore we are coming to mine. So let's say we start, we drill, we cut, and then we fire this session. You true now I say. You deep gold where we are. Let's say coal. You deep coal where we are. Now buy a dim for coal mining no, and access strip mining. You teach because the ore is tabular. We divide it just like this. So let's say this is phase 1. This is our second phase that we mine. This is our third phase. This is our last phase, which is the 4th stage. So we drill this session. We drill. Then we fire. We take our material away. Now when we come here, we take it back to fill this session. To fill here. So reclamation is a what mining we now was katas so and almost as I said the overtone pepe. Into this strip mining I can't was say or mining how we are waste now being an audio wind chain. No about phase 2. Phase 2 or mining phase 2 so we are waste no being was say no. Not the other can we know they are failing a so we say reclamation is done whilst we are mining. It's Andrew say I'm mining last one. Near kata hangina so that is what we call strip mining. All right. So as I was saying, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and then phase 4. So whilst you are mining phase 2, we pick the waste from phase 2. You use that to backfill phase 1. So concurrently, whilst you are mining, you're filling back till you are done. But then in open pit mining, you can't do that because it takes a very large space, very big space, of which that's space you can't just fill it. No, you have to finish taking your ore. After that, then you fill or you make the place as you came to meet it. So we mine here, 2 same things, and there is a machine they use. They do not use our excavators that we use here. They use the bucket wheel excavator. The bucket wheel excavator. And why machine back up on one extra material now. On one team the conveyor belt, so no transport to the core. Baby I was said the core. It's not like conventional mining now you use dump trucks be brain. So that is that for strip mining. Let me share the handouts. Okay, so let's read small. Strip mining is ideally applied where the surface of the ground and the ore body itself are relatively horizontal. As I said, it should be flat, horizontal, and too deep, and not too deep under the surface. And the wide area is available to be mined in series of strips. So, that is what we are saying, series of what? Strip. It's in the say one or no a and I was say oh no say tabular. Normally coal for coal mining. A tabular. So whilst you are mining, you be filling back, you mine here, fill back, you mine, fill back till you finish. Relatively thin overburden. So the overburden is normally 0 to 50 meters. Maximum, otherwise stripping ratio and cost of stripping becomes too high. Now let's look at what we call stripping ratio. The stripping ratio, it's the amount of waste that you need to remove to uncover a certain amount of ore. Let's go back to the white screen. So let's say I have this, the amount of waste. So Madika catcher say, oh no, let me choose a different color so that you get it. Madika catcher say, oh no, and only red session. It means that all this session, if I'm to mine the first session, I have in all the blue session. Hey, waste. I mean, hey, waste. Yes. So the stripping ratio is the amount of waste that you take off to this to get the main ore. That is the stripping ratio. So every mining company, or if you're a mining engineer, whatever what you're supposed to think about is that you have to make sure that your stripping ratio is always low. Once your stripping ratio is very high, it means that we can waste be. And let's note that this waste that you are mining, you are incurring cost. Why? Because this waste can be consolidated or they can be very hard rock, of which you will need to drill and blast. And I've told you that drilling and blasting is one of the most, or it is the most expensive units in the whole mining operations. So you need to drill and fire all these things. So if you are a mining engineer and then you have these deposits, you can say, okay, fine. If I choose this, it means that my stripping ratio will be very high. So I will not start my mine from here. I will not start from here. Rather, let's start from here so that we will need to remove a few amount of waste to discover our ore. So let's assume this is our open pit. If you see this type, it is open pit. You are mining this. This is the surface. The surface. What we want to say is that when we say stripping ratio, it is the amount of waste everyone that is your stripping ratio. So if this is your surface, this is where the ore is. It means that so clear just to discover this ore. This is your stripping ratio. And I was explaining that as a mining engineer or as someone in mining, you always have to make sure that your stripping ratio is very low. It should be very low, meaning that you should spend a little amount of money to get the waste off so that you can get the ore. But if the stripping ratio is too high, it means that you'll be pumping too much money just for waste. And we don't mind for waste. So it tells you that if you look at where the ore is, then you look at how you should mine it. Now, if my ore is this, it doesn't end here. I have a surface. If you're a mining engineer, we've given you this ore to mine. Don't come and start from here. Don't come and start creating your BEMs from here. If you do this, it means that you have to mine all this waste before you can get access to the ore. That your stripping ratio will be very high. And then you spend a lot of money because you have to buy explosives, you have to pay your workers, you have to buy fuel to fill your dump trucks, you have to buy grease. There are a lot of things you have to buy. You are pumping money all in the name of waste. So half enough, let's say they are here building structures, clearing the road, clearing everything. And when they get to this session, when they get here, be like, okay, let's drill, let's fire all these things so that we expose the ore. You get it? When you start incurring large amount of money in drill and blast operations, it means that you are working with your stripping ratio thing. So that is the stripping ratio. And then we were saying that if you are practicing strip mining, the stripping ratio or the waste from the bed to where the ore is, it should be between 0 to 50 meters. Every 50 meters, stripping ratio will be cost. That is what is in a handout. you see it should be, the bedding should be 0 to 50 meters. So it's, if you are mining waste of more than 50 meters, hey, then you are incurring cost.